high voltage. Electromagnetic radiation. 5G. Electric cars. Is there really a health risk from using an electric car? Given the doubts that electric cars can raise about people's health, I have decided to investigate it on my own. But first, there are some concepts that we have to be clear about to understand this test. A magnetic field is a vector field that describes the magnetic influence on moving electric charges, electric currents, and magnetic materials. Since both strength and direction of a magnetic field may vary with location, it is described mathematically by a function assigning a vector to each point of space, called vector field. In the International System of Units, the unit of the magnetic flux density is the Tesla. Another unit to measure it is the Gauss, which is equivalent to 10 raised to the power of -4 Tesla. The electric field is defined as a vector field that associates to each point in space the electrostatic force per unit of charge exerted on an infinitesimal positive test charge addressed at that point. The derived SI unit for the electric field is the volt per meter. In radiometry, irradiance is the radiant flux received by the surface per unit area. The SI unit of irradiance is the watt per square meter. Warning: these tests are not performed in an environment that can ensure the validity of the results. The analysis of the results obtained may contain errors and should not be considered as irrefutable proof. In case of doubt, consult your nearest expert in the field. To do this test, the first thing we did was drive an electric car to a charging station. Once there, we checked using our measurement device what were the values produced in different situations. So for starting, why don't we get in the car and see what happens? On this split screen, you can see on the left the values we get when the charger is off, and on the right when it is running. I did this table to analyze the results in an easier way, displaying different values. As for the minimum value, we can see there's no difference in the interior for when the car is charging and when it's not. If we look at the electric field or the irradiance, however, we get a higher magnetic field when the car is charging. Regarding the maximum values, it happens the same with the magnetic field. When charging, we get a higher value. Nevertheless, we get a lower value in the electric field and the irradiance when the car is charging. Once more, the average value. Analyzing all the values we got during the test, we can see that the magnetic field is higher when the charger is running, indeed, whereas the electric field and the irradiance showed lower values when the car is charging. We got out of the car to check if the difference between these values also matches the values we get inside the car. In this case, we get the opposite result. With regard to the magnetic field, we get lower values when the car is charging, both the minimum and maximum values, and the average as well. The electric field produced a higher result with the charger on, with respect to the value we got with the charger turned off. The maximum and minimum values remained stable at 6 volts per meter, while with the charger turned off, the minimum value remained at 3 volts per meter. As regards the irradiance, we always got a higher value when the charger was running. Analyzing the variation between the results obtained inside and outside the car, we can see that inside the car, in almost all situations, we get lower values than beside the charger out of the car. What does it mean? That as long as we stay inside the car, we probably will be more protected against this type of radiation. However, we noticed that regarding the electric field, the values were way higher when the charger was turned off from inside the car. This may be due to a spike that simply disrupts the result of the test, but we can probably dismiss that spike since it is very rare value. Nevertheless, due to this spike, the average value we got was really high as well when the charger was turned off while we were inside the car. We can also observe that the irradiance inside the car when it wasn't charging was higher as well. Not happy with that, we got back on the road to check the values displayed by the measuring device while driving at a constant speed on the same stretch of road. But what kind of study would this be if we settled for seeing the values shown only with an electric car? So why don't we get into a dirty and smoky internal combustion engine car as well to do the same route and check the difference between the values obtained in both cars. As it is clear in this image, we did not carry out the test in the same sunlight conditions since, as you can see on the left, are the results that we obtained with the Zoe during the night, and on the right you can see the results that we got with the internal combustion engine car during the day. In order not to make it too boring, let's speed up the video and move on to analyzing the results. In this road test, we generally obtained lower values in the electric car, except for irradiance, which we obtained a much higher result in the internal combustion engine car, despite the fact that the test in the electric car was done overnight. This may be because the electric car used for this test is a very modern car, whereas our old internal combustion engine car may not have the same insulation due to the fact that it's old, or simply because for electric cars the manufacturers already take this into account. As for the test results, well, let's just say they're inconclusive.